What's up with O-scale? I've discovered there's a lot of misunderstanding about O-scale. They don't look the same. They have a different track. You're thinking about O-gauge trains, 3 rails, AC power packs. Why is there a difference? Well, there's actually 2 types of O-scale. I like to think of it. 2 rail, they'll be in line with all the other scales, H-O-N-Z, whatever. O-gauge, to be its own animal. It has 3 rails. I want to have fun type of hobbyist. They'll have the plastic houses up and the plastic barns and the plastic church, and they'll have all the tunnels and the cranes and the bridges, but ice skaters going around, gondolas going up and down ski slopes, all those things, a lot of action, a lot of movement. They'll turn their trains on, they'll run them at full speed, they want more action, they'll have 2 trains, 3 trains. Boy, the more the better, and they just go in every different way, and if that's what you love, then hey, that's what you should do. I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you should do. This is all about enjoying the hobby, having fun. A new trend that's kind of surfacing with the popularity of the 3-rail O-gauges, that is to get more realistic looking car. 2-rail O-scale boxcar sold by one of the brands is identical to the 3-rail scale. In the 3-rail variety, there's no threat of short. If you buy a 2-rail scale car, you have to have insulated trucks, say, so you don't short out your track from the positive to the negative. This is what a lot of hobbyists are doing now. They're running the 3-rail trains, converting them over to the KD couplers, getting rid of their old mutated, shrunken down toy-like cars and replacing them with the realistic scale size and detailed cars. And that's the other benefit. You not only got to get skilled cars, you got to get details that are more realistic. There's also a furthering of that in the fine scale. If you're really serious, you can get it right down to actual sizes of the prototype, and that's called fine scale. And usually those things are more expensive. So for a whole nother beast. So I just referred to O-gauge 3-rail, O-scale 2-rail, and then O-scale fine scale. So that's 2-rail fine scale. Everything is precisely, more accurately to gauge and to size. Even the wheels, the flanges, the width of the wheel, the trucks, and couplers. It's difficult to find O-scale in hobby stores. The local hobby stores, I mean, they're still in existence, even with the web. But if you go into a local hobby store, they usually are very limited in the O-gauge trains. They have N-scale, lots of HO, maybe some Z, very limited in the O-gauge trains. But they have some Lionel, MTH, if they do have them. And normally, I've yet to find any 2-rail. They normally are always 3-rail. So, finding 2-rail is a little bit more difficult. You usually just can't walk into a hobby store. And strangely enough, many of the hobby dealers don't even know of the existence of the 2-rail. They sell the 3-rail. They don't even know that they could sell 2-rail. And if they do know, they won't sell it because nobody comes in asking for it. They won't stock it, really, is really the truth of it, because why should they stock it if nobody's going to come buy it? So the demand on 2-rail is so low, usually not worth the while of the local hobby store to carry it. And I've had N-scale trains, HO trains. If you had any other model trains and other scales and you want to go to O scale, you probably won't want to go to O gauge with the third rail. Even scale, why would you? I mean, you're already accustomed to doing model railroading, wiring it, what it takes, what it looks like, doing scenery. But the disadvantage would be, hey, you're going to have lots of space for your two-rail O scale. These trains are big and they need a lot of turning radius to negotiate in. You can't do tight turns. And having a full-fledged scale size layout. The disadvantage of all of that is if you do go O scale, whether it's 3-rail or 2-rail, and you're going to go scale size engines and cars, they're not going to be able to make these tight turns that you would have on a 4x8 sheet of plywood.
That takes this train seriously.